Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the garbage time equivalent of the BSN Buffs postgame show. I'm not at the Super Bowl, and this is Jake Shapiro.
Hey, folks.
So, Shap, this was a tough loss for Colorado tonight, 76-56 at the hands of the Oregon Ducks, who are arguably, in their defense, the best team in the conference, I believe. But one thing that I think a lot of people missed tonight was the number one cop on the force, Thomas Akiazili, who has had ankle injuries persist throughout this week, and boy, did they miss him tonight.
Yeah, he left practice a little bit early on Tuesday, I believe. I think it was his left ankle or right. It was one of the two ankles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure which one, but it was one of the two ankles. It was a little bit bummed. And they did miss the number one cop on the force as they tried to go for first place in the Pac-12. They had 14 turnovers tonight as I look at my stat sheet. And a lot of that came as due to Josh Fortune and a couple of the wings handling the ball, bringing it up the court. They really need that three-guard lineup. It's really tough when they have to go from Xavier Talton to Dominique Collier, and then there's a huge jump off to that third guy when Thomas Akiazili's in the game. Yeah, Tommy's only playing about 10 minutes as of late, but those 10 minutes have been huge of just stabilizing the Colorado offense.
Well, the very impressive thing about Akiazili, if you recall against Cal in the Coors Event Center, his and one with the circus layup was the thing that prompted the huge run that ended up seeing them defeat the Golden Bears in Boulder. The other thing that Akiazili brings is he pushes the tempo a lot, and I think that's something that was really needed for Colorado tonight because I think the Buffaloes really played to what Oregon is really good at, which is controlling the tempo on their own terms and being able to play very, very good defense down low and ended up really doubling Josh Scott, taking him out of the game, not making him the dominant player that he's been in conference so far.
Yeah, Colorado really was forced into Oregon's style of play, and Oregon forced them into a lot of bad passes tonight. And the turnovers are going to be the highlight and the talking point of this game. I mean, the low light for Colorado, but in terms of talking points, that's probably number one. Colorado also didn't hit their defensive numbers. They allowed Oregon to shoot 41%, which is granted a lot better than the last time they played Oregon and allowed 87 points. But still, Tad Boyle can't expect to win a game on the road where he allows the home team to score 76 points, and Josh Scott only gets 12 shots from the field.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the Rivals contributors, Tyler Ziskin, had a fantastic tweet at the end of the game that I think actually summed it up pretty well. Somebody tweeted, "We lost to Oregon 20 in Eugene, but we beat them by 4, at home. You know, what was the difference?" And Zisk turned around and said they played flawlessly at home, which I think really is an important thing to remember here. This Oregon team is a very good basketball team. Absolutely.
They might be the elite team in the Pac-12 conference. An elite, who knows? But Arizona has been the elite team in this conference for a long time. But you look at the recruits Oregon's brought in under Dana Altman the last few years, and man, that Tyler Dorsey kid can play. And I know the Colorado fans are a little bit shaking in their boots after that recruiting miss, but, you know, he's a really good player. Oregon has a couple really good players on their team as it is right now, and they basically have a 1.5 game lead on everyone else in the Pac-12 conference. It's going to be really hard to see some other team go into Vegas, the number one seed, not named Oregon.
Yeah, that's very true, and Oregon really did earn their top 25 ranking, and I think a lot of people, maybe after tonight, might understand why the Buffaloes haven't really been getting that national respect in the polls, and it also doesn't help that this was one of the bigger nationally televised games that Colorado has this year on FS1 tonight, and they ended up kind of, just fluttering away in the spotlight.
Look, they're 17-6 on the year. Their best win of the year might have been against Cal last Sunday, and they really have not won the big game, the monumental game. The Cal game was pretty big, but they needed to win this one, or the Cal game. If they had won the Oregon game tonight, that was like icing on the cake. You go win at Oregon. That wasn't expected. They're absolutely fine, especially if they win in Corvallis this weekend. They're fine the way it stands right now. But if they had won either against Iowa State or Utah or SMU or this game tonight, they'd easily be a top 25 team. And there's an argument to be made that they still deserve to be a top 25 team, but it's hard to prove that you're a top 25 team when every time you're on a national stage, you come out and play like you did tonight and you lose by 20.
Yeah, and it's a huge struggle that Colorado has. They will play this weekend against Oregon State. And Shap, do you think that this team can play up on the road in Corvallis, which historically, even before Wayne Tinkle arrived at Oregon State, that's a historically really difficult place to play.
Right, since the Buffs joined the Pac-12, they probably have had the most success in Eugene out of all places. Even Tad Boyle was asked this week, where's the toughest environment in the Pac-12? Is it Eugene? And he just kind of laughed and said, next question. But Corvallis is a pretty tough environment for the Buffs. The fans are right there on the court. It's a little bit of an older gym. They have Gary Payton II, and as we know, college basketball is all about guard play. We saw what he did at the Coors Event Center. You can only imagine what he can do at home. You know, Trace Tinkle, I think is his name.
Tinkle, yeah.
I don't want to call him Tress. But he's a pretty good ball player. They've got some good ball players on that team, so there's no easy road wins in the Pac-12, particularly where the Buffs are right now with having Oregon State, the Los Angeles schools left, and Utah. You can make the argument that this is their easiest win left on the schedule on the road, and it's no easy task. No way the Buffs are favored in this game on Saturday, but they still do have a chance. And the way they played tonight maybe is encouraging in the sense that it really couldn't be much worse. So maybe they'll turn that around and go to Oregon State and play some good ball, get Wes Gordon involved, maybe get George King efficiently shooting from the field, maybe solve Josh Fortune's turnover problems. There was a lot of things that went wrong tonight. And maybe people want to only admit it was the shooting the first 15 minutes, but you can't dig yourself that kind of hole, and you can't do some of the things they did on the road. You can't have 14 turnovers on the road and expect to win. If you had Oregon's amount of turnovers, which was I think 6, you can win that game. You need to have 10 or less turnovers on the road in the Pac-12 if you want to win a game, especially when the foul counts are even and the shooting's, within a 5-point point percentage.
And the stakes just got a lot higher for Colorado in Corvallis. That game will be played on Saturday, broadcast on the Pac-12 network. For Jay Shapiro, I'm still not at the Super Bowl, and we will see you guys after our next game. This has been BSN Buffs post-game show. We will see you guys later, and that's about it.